All right, good afternoon. Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to the afternoon segment of The Verdict here on Channels Television. We've been up all night getting results and giving you updates on what's happening across the country following the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Now, we're waiting for the Collation Center in Abuja, the INEC Collation Center, the National Collation Center, to reopen. Anytime that happens, we will go straight to that and allow you listening on what's happening as the collation progresses. But as always on this belt, I'm not alone. I have my crew with me, Ijoma Ayato and Neil Tagbe.
That's right. When he says we've been up all night, literally,
Indeed.
we have waiting to give this to you. Remember, you can participate. Send us some pictures. It's hashtag The Verdict and hashtag 2019 elections. Tell us where you're watching Channels Television from wherever you are in the world. And literally, we do mean wherever you are in the world. We have messages coming in from all over the world as Nigeria has, everybody else keeps their eye on Nigeria at this time when we wait for the announcement of our elections, yeah?
Indeed. Our desire is to ensure that you stay informed as best as we can. So we've spread our correspondents across the country and beyond to keep tabs on what's happening. The results are coming from across the country. The different states are coming into Abuja. And again, as Ladi has already said, we'll get to the Collation Center when they start up and bring that up to you live. You can watch on youtube.com/Channels Television. Subscribe to our channel so that you keep you're updated on the go. But you can also download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS from their respective stores so that you watch Channels Television on the go. But you also have the eyewitness feature that you can use on the app to send videos, pictures of news of happenings around you. So you're with us as we keep you informed all the way.
Yes, and we already have our first set of
guests with us, yes. And of course, sorry, our first set of results.
Results, that's what I was trying to say.
Indeed, the first set of results, as well as our first set of guests. But maybe we want to go with the first set of results?
Well, do you have them? Yeah, well, we've heard from Ekiti, and we've heard from
Osun
as well.
We've heard one or two from Kwara, from Kaduna. We've heard one or two from Jigawa, from Kano, from Oyo, from Akwa Ibom.
So, Enugu.
And as you would expect, reactions are coming in already. People are trying to make sense of what they can see. Some are saying, oh, we predicted it, and some are saying, oh, they were not quite sure that that's how it would turn out. Indeed.
And of course, we have, as I said, our first set of guests with us. Mr. Jiti Oguye is Channels Television's election consultant. He is also a legal practitioner. Thank you so much for joining us on this segment. And Babajide Ogunsoro is Channels Television's data consultant for this election. Thank you very much for joining us
I see the results are making you sweat.
Oh, yes, obviously, already.
Ajide, I was going to say, this is your day, you know, when figures are coming in numbers, you just come alive on days like this, right?
You know, more than being my day, is the day for all the 72.7 million Nigerians that picked up their PVCs. And what we're going to be doing for the next couple of hours will be to explain to Nigerians what do these results mean. And for me, there are three ways I've decided to rate the results all throughout today. For each state, it's either we'll rate it as expected, 1, or 2, we'll rate it as unusual, or 3, we could rate it as surprised. Now, you might ask, what's the difference between expected, unusual, and surprised? And I'll try and explain it a bit to you. If we rate any state, or if I choose to rate a state as expected, it simply means, for instance, if Lionel Messi were playing a football match and he scores 1 goal, that is expected. If Lionel Messi is playing a football match, and he gets a red card, that is
surprising,
unusual.
Okay.
Unusual. Not unexpected.
Unusual. But if Lionel Messi is playing a football match and he scores 2 hat-tricks, not 1, 2 hat-tricks, that will be surprised. And so each state results, I think, to make it simple, we rate them as expected, unusual, and surprised. These are just our personal ratings, and they don't reflect the ratings of Channels TV, just to make it a bit interesting.
But Mr. Guye, before I get to you about whether you're expected, surprised, or whether it's unusual, talk about the process now, the collation process and the announcement. You see the amount of forms, you know, that he talked about, and the process, how it's going to go. How do you rate the process we've seen?
Yeah, in the last segment, I made mention of how lethargic and cumbersome the process is. We can do a lot better, and we can do it cheaper if we go the way of technology. And this has become a cliche now. People have been talking about this. You look at the spreadsheet, even at the level of the coalition center at the state, you know, the visuals that Channel Television showed earlier in Lagos here, you could see that the Resident Electoral Commission, because numbers will not tally, will ask those returning officers to go back and do their work before representing and all that. So it's very elaborate, right? And so moving forward, we'll need to think seriously about this because it generates an atmosphere of unnecessary suspense during which a lot can indeed happen. Earlier, you know, Professor Akinyobole talked about the needless intervention of a foreign diplomat who was issuing a statement in respect of this election, meaning that if indeed the results almost are the immediate or contemporaneous with the election, we won't have this kind of time lag for all sort of people to be weighing and be making those statements and all that. And indeed, but for the fact that government sometimes, because they do not always, those who are in government do not always do what the people want or what the people like. When a foreign power or a foreign diplomat is doing that which is odd, you don't see the people joining the government to condemn or deprecate that foreign power. You know, in 1993, towards the June 12 election, the judiciary was coming out with all sorts of orders against what the electoral guidelines and the electoral decree governing that election, you know, dictated. And so Basi Peme issued, she's late now, issued an order that there shall be no election. In the course of counting and releasing the result, Justice Saleh of the High Court in Abuja also issued another restraining order and all that. And while all that was going on, can't forget, my co-brain,
yes, the USIS director issued a statement and said America will not sit by and allow Babangida to postpone that election. Because, mind you, it had been an elongated transition. Mm-hmm. People are reading seminar work on it. Larry Diamond wrote his book, Transition Without End, on it. Because Babangida was extending that transition program and he issued that statement. You know what? A military government, it didn't spend 24 hours in Nigeria. They deported it immediately. Immediately. The election, of course, went, and then we all knew what happened thereafter. So, because these results are coming in trickles right now, and at this rate and at this pace, don't let's kid ourselves. It's likely that we're not going to have this election being called today. It may dovetail into tomorrow. And so, nationally, Nigerians will be glued to their television. You and I, or you, I'm not talking about this and all that. So,
Mr. Wuyo, that would make a lot of people happy because people are hoping to wake up this morning. And a lot of people kept saying to me, it's 11 o'clock, why don't we know the result? I said, they said the collation will continue. We'll see the result.
And I saw something on social media, I said, Nigeria safe. That the INEC chairman postponed collation and reporting the election for one day. And he said that it was going to come at 11 o'clock. Now, that this 12 o'clock now, it has not come. So whether it will come today now, we don't know. So people are anxious about this. And I think that that anxiety is legitimate. So I think that's what I think moving forward we should try to fix. Or otherwise, the results that have come in thus far clearly indicate that although we have many political parties now, 71 or 72
91.
3.
91.
No.
But
we
on
have-
the ballots.
Those are on the ballots
73.
and all that. This election is between two political parties. And therefore, many people are wondering whether we are not having by default a two-party system of a little to the right or a little to the left. If that's what we're having, it will be a sad case for Nigeria. Because really, and I've not hidden my opinion about this, having the choice between the devil and the deep blue sea cannot be a comfortable choice, or between the rock and the hard place.
But
this is a multi-party democracy. It will be good for us to have clear-cut choices between our people,
Mr. Green,
and then they can make...
If I may interrupt you here, when you say having these two parties is not good for our democracy, we have 91 per se, and the ballot paper, you voted, right? That ballot paper was quite cumbersome for some people to manage. Now, you also talked about the process now of collating the results is heavy. So if we're still going to have this number of political parties, maybe for the next election, because this one's done with, if we're going to have this number of political parties, do you think this going it manually would be the best way to go?
Now, I'll answer the question this way. I've suggested that we should go the electronic way. We should go the digital way. And if we do that, then we'll cut out this paperwork, so to speak. And so you won't be talking about a ballot paper that is as long as a broom or that is as broad as an umbrella, so to speak. So I'm just using imagery. So it will be good for us to do that, because right now there's a lot of waste. 245 billion naira in an economy like Nigeria's is not small money. And so for logistics, for paper, for mobilizing policemen, for paying them money, for all sorts of things, spend a lot of money and energy. And things can be more seamless or prosaic or very, very easy, so to speak. And since everywhere our life, social life, economic life, our activities is now saturated with the electronic banking sector, whatever, it's something that we need to look at. But for the time being,